So while Turning Point gets to go around and tell everybody that Tyler Robinson is guilty before the trial even starts, which am, I don't feel like that's legal in my opinion, but hey, what do I know? Um, and the people on that side of the narrative, they continue to try to convince everybody that Tyler Robinson's guilty. I've never seen nothing like it. Never seen nothing like it. I put out a tweet out the other day saying I've never seen so many outsiders talk about how the evidence is overwhelming, as if they're part of the prosecution team, as if they know, as if they've seen different. Like if we saw the same thing, bro, it's not overwhelming. Don't make it seem like I'm crazy. I'm not saying Tyler Robinson is guilty, but don't sit here and tell me it's overwhelming as if we're not looking at the same affidavit and same court docs. Like it's nothing overwhelming yet. If you can say yet, that's fine. But when they try to do that early, like when they try to do the whole it's overwhelming evidence, you have no idea. I'm like, you are looking at the same thing we are. What are you talking about? Don't even get me started. I was finna, that's just tangent already. There's a side of the narrative. There's a side of the world, should I say, the conspiracy theories, where we just want all of this to make sense. It's hard being a conspiracy theorist. It's hard. We want the original narrative to make sense. And we're not asking for Turning Point to come out and make sense of it. The authorities, the FBI, they should have everybody comfortable enough to be like, okay, this is a solid case. They're going to do the right thing. Unfortunately, that's not where we are right now. Everybody's questioning everything. The original narrative doesn't make sense. There's a lot of loopholes. That's just what it is. I wish it wasn't like that. Being a conspiracy theorist and being like what it feels like the outside looking in is hard because we don't have the help of the freaking feds, bro. We don't have the help of the authorities to verify things. So that's why so many people look up to Candace Owens because she has some great sources. But it's hard trying to put the pieces together. And it pisses me off when things don't make sense. And we're trying, everybody that's on this side of the investigation is trying their best to put the pieces together. And sometimes it leads nowhere, sometimes it does. But when someone tries to come up with a theory and then it's automatically shot down by the other side, and they say, you're wrong, you're lying. It's like, it's a theory, bro. People are coming up with theories because the original narrative doesn't make any sense. You can't tell somebody the theory is wrong unless you have factual evidence or proof to dispute the theory, and now it's settled. But if that doesn't make sense, that's why a theory was created. If you don't like the theory, prove them wrong with facts. But it pisses me off when the internet does that. The people that's on that side of the investigation, they just tell everybody that their theories are wrong. And then we're supposed to just sit back and be confused forever because nobody will come forth with the truth. It's crazy. But I found some information today that doesn't help me believe the original narrative even more. It gives my conspiracy brain a great scratch. And some people may have seen this before. I haven't. So either I'm about to waste your time or you're going to be just like me and find something new today or learn something new today. I happen to be going down a rabbit hole. Before I even get into all of that, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the sub button. Make sure you hit the like button as well. Everybody, I appreciate all the support. This page is growing. I'm enjoying it. If you joined the debate the other night, I do appreciate you for sticking it out all the way through. It was like 3 hours long, but I really, really, really do appreciate y'all for supporting, because I think we had like a consistent 120, 130 people that was watching the they call it a debate. I would say open discussion. And it went well. And I really do appreciate y'all for that. Hopefully there's more to come in the future where we can just have a great conversation on both sides of the spectrum. It don't really gotta be a debate style thing where you're right, I'm wrong type thing. I just like to talk and hear people's perspectives and opinions. And I'm not the person that's gonna tell you, it's dumb, it's stupid, you're wrong, and we just go back and forth. I just want to just talk. And I may disagree, but I literally just want to have a conversation like we just in the same room, vibing, chilling. You know what I mean? That's my type of thing. So I do appreciate y'all for listening to that with Lisa knows. I know a lot of y'all had different opinions on that and stuff, but I appreciate it all. The great, good feedback, the good support, the constructive criticism. It's all invited. I do appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get into it. I was going down a rabbit hole today, looking into, I actually was trying to find some more information on the K9 units that were dispatched because, Candace has brought that up, Baron has brought that up, everybody has brought that up in general as far as, the, the bomb dogs wasn't able to locate the alleged murder weapon that was just recently fired, which is very interesting. And, I when I pulled it up, I realized that it's nowhere to be found. You can't find that in an article. The FBI didn't talk about that. The feds didn't. The local police didn't talk about that. And I guess that would make sense because that would be very alarming to the original narrative. So I tried to go down a rabbit hole to find those police scanners that Barron and Candace talked about with, all canines being dispatched or whatever you want to call it to look for the, search for the weapon in that area. But I ended up coming across some other footage that really, you know, piqued my interest because I've never seen it before. And it is about Tyler Robinson's whereabouts. And it's from the same creator that was dropping all the police scanners on that day and stuff like that. But she dropped a video on Tyler Robinson's whereabouts after the Big Bang. And it's bizarre because this wasn't talked about either. And it's huge to me because, again, I don't know this. So some of y'all might know this already. But the Big Bang happened in 1223. And Tyler Robinson was just going for a little stroll, no sense of urgency to get out of Provo after committing the crime of the century. He decides to pull up to this plaza, and to me, it seemed like he was waiting on somebody. But let's just jump straight into it, as this is going to get very interesting. So, this image right here is down. Where's my mouse? Let's see if I can get my mouse up here. Yeah, come on. Where you at? Where you at? No. There we go. All right. This dot right here is the UVU campus. I just want to lay this out first. This dot right here is the UVU campus. And then up here is the plaza that we are about to see, allegedly, Tyler Robinson. And it is very interesting because keep in mind, this is a 5-minute drive. Okay, a 5-minute drive. Now let's look at this security camera footage. There's this girl that reached out to somebody. And also, I want to put a disclaimer as well. Let me take this down really quick. So I am an independent creator. I don't have my private investigators. I'm not big dog yet like that. So when it comes to vetting things to see if it's real, it's just all me. All I could do is look at things 1,000 times, try to have great discernment with it to feel like if it's real or not. Maybe try to cross-examine and cross-check to pull up different sources on Google, X, Chat GBT. It's all types of stuff that you try to do. But at the end of the day, it's all challenging because this entire investigation is weird. The feds have covered up so many things, like, for example, the hospital tapes, how they took the hospital footage down. Like that's not publicized. So we'll never really know. If you just wanted to pull it up, you can't find that. So it's similar to what I'm about to show y'all. It's hard to vet stuff that the feds are actively covering up. But I just wanted to put that out there just in case I get to the end of this video and somebody's like, the entire thing's been debunked already. That's somebody else. I don't know. But this is my first time seeing it. Now, This is footage from a plaza that is 5 minutes away from the UVU campus. And what's interesting about this video, and I'm gonna have it on mute just because these people talk a lot. You can see in the top. Let me go back a little bit. Up here is Tyler Robinson's car, right? The Dodge Challenger, allegedly Tyler Robinson's car. But what's also interesting is before he parked. I'll try my best. I'm sorry. Before he parked his car right here, as you can see right here, he actually drives this way first. And then he comes back. My mouse isn't even over there. I'm tripping. I'm such a rookie to this. He actually drives this way first, and then he turns around, and it ends up coming back and then parking up here. So I'm trying to pull that up for you. These clips are hard. I promise you. All right, here we go. It was hard to try to chop up to just get straight to the point for y'all. I had to watch all of it. All right, so you can see right here, that is allegedly Tyler Robinson's Dodge Challenger. And that is definitely a Challenger for anybody that's like, oh, how do you know that? It's definitely a Challenger. And you kind of got to cross-check with different creators as well. Baron Coleman talks about how there weren't that many Dodge Challengers in Provo that day. He was using his little satellite thing, and I think he only ended up finding one that was in like the McDonald's parking lot. But this matches the description of the car, the gray Dodge Challenger. Now, keep in mind, the timestamp up here says 12:48 p.m. The Big Bang happened at 12:23. So 25 minutes later, and think about it, it's also a 5-minute drive to get to this point. So in 25 minutes, he ran to the edge of the building, jumped off, walked, down the street, into the woods, whatever, found his car, 5-minute drive, and we're here all within 25 minutes. I don't believe it. There's no way. Now, I realized that this 12:48 right here, where he's going this way, for some reason, this is about to turn to 12:45. I don't really know why I caught that not that long ago, but it's still kind of not the point of the video. I'm still trying to figure out why is Tyler Robinson allegedly in this parking lot around this time after the Big Bang. You just committed the crime of the century. You would think this man is trying to get out of Provo, get out of Dodge, like they say. But he's hanging around for what? But let's look at some of it. Look, he drives past. And that's definitely a Dodge Challenger. That's definitely a Dodge Challenger. And then try to skip through this so you can see him come back. And then there he is. Dodge Challenger again. But this time he pulls into the parking lot and parks up here. Allegedly. Assuming this is Tyler Robinson. And again, this is 9:10 at 12:45. Right? We talked about how the timestamps are a little weird. Not really sure why. But this is allegedly after the Big Bang. He pulls into a parking lot 5 minutes away and is waiting. For what? That's definitely a Dodge Challenger. This 1,000% a Dodge Challenger. Timestamps again. That's 100% a Dodge Challenger. Now, what's even more interesting is this part as well. I wouldn't say more interesting. All of it's interesting. Can I get to the part, please? We're gonna get to the text messages. I just want to get to the part where he pulls off. All right, here we go. So you can see way up here, the Dodge Challenger is still there. It seems like he's waiting for somebody. Waiting for somebody. And then this white car comes in the picture. And then Tyler Robinson allegedly pulls off as if he was waiting for this white car. It's very, very, very strange. He pulls into a parking lot. First, he drives by, right? And then I'm going to show y'all the street of what this looks like on Google Earth. This creator does it, so it's just perfect. It's all in one video. But he drives by this way and then turns around, pulls into this plaza, however y'all pronounce it where you from. We say plaza. And just waits for somebody. And then a white car comes right here, SUV, and Tyler Robinson pulls off, allegedly. All right, again, all alleged, but this is the description of Tyler Robinson's vehicle. Tyler Robinson words, he likes to use vehicle. Very, very strange for somebody, again, for somebody that just committed the crime of the century. Why would you be doing that? Why would you be hanging around? It doesn't really make sense to me. As if he wasn't the one on the building. Speculation. But was he on the building? Because this is all happening within 30 minutes. We can at least say give or take. He is in a car driving around waiting for somebody. All within 30 minutes after the big bang happened. It's just very weird. And where the plaza is, let me see if I can, before I get to the text messages that are also weird. This is what the plaza looks like. So he drives this way. He comes back this way, pulls into the parking lot right here, waits for somebody. They end up coming right here behind him, pulling in, and then he takes off and goes the other way. I mean, it just seems like he was waiting on somebody. Now, this is where it gets definitely weird. The girl that released all of this information was texting one of the, not this creator right here that's sharing this information or posting it on her page, but the guy that you see that's like reacting it on the phone and stuff. He's getting this information from, his sources. But these text messages are very strange. She says the biggest thing that made me turn my head was this middle screenshot right here. Oh, I'm sorry. My mouse is always doing the wrong thing. Was this middle screenshot right here where she said the FBI said that when the cell phone was turned on, it sent signals that he was here, and that's how the FBI came to the stores asking for the security cameras. So this is another place that the FBI went to clean out the security cameras. Which is just, again, it's weird. They're having a history. It's starting to become a trend where they're going to different places, cleaning house, wiping the footage. Then the screenshot over here, it says the FBI came to our work asking for security cameras, and this is what we found. Sent to Candace, blah blah. But basically, they're saying Tyler Robinson's phone pinged, the towers, and that's how the FBI knew that he was in that plaza or in that area. But that's not in the news articles, papers, none of that. They never talk about Tyler Robinson's phone pinging in the plaza, and they had to stop at a plaza because they got a tip. But yet she provides screenshots, videos, and everything. She even has this one text message over here saying, I sent the video to TMZ, but they're not interested over here. I'm nobody's really a fan of TMZ, but I just thought it was interesting that TMZ's not interested in this. But again, why don't we know about this information? If the feds went here because they were tipped off that Tyler Robinson was nearby, how do we not know this? Maybe it's no, it wouldn't be in the court docs. They were actively looking for him. So this should have been part of the discovery of, leading up to his arrest and whatever. We were tipped off. We got to the plaza. We're close. Something. I don't know. I'm not in law enforcement or none of that. I'm not claiming to be the genius when it comes to law or all of that, or crime and stuff like that, like the detectives, the police work. But that's where my mind goes, is that I feel like if the feds went to this place because the towers tipped Tyler Robinson, the towers alerted the feds that Tyler Robinson's phone was nearby, then this should have been reported. And I'm leaning towards believing this. Again, there's kind of really no way for me to vet all of this stuff, but it leads me to believe that this girl is telling the truth, because we also know that the feds wiped the security cameras at the hospital. So why shouldn't I believe that they wiped the security cameras at this store in the plaza? I don't know. It's weird. I just want to look at that one more time. That's definitely the Dodge Challenger. That's definitely the Dodge Challenger. And he was waiting. For what? I don't know. And the timestamps don't make any sense. So again, Tyler Robinson pulls in and goes this way first. Let me pull up the screen more. He pulls in this way first, and then he leaves out of frame, and he ends up turning around and pulling into the plaza parking lot, and then is parked right here waiting. Now, what kind of also sparked my interest is this car right here that's pulling behind Tyler Robinson. Allegedly, if it's Tyler Robinson, that triggers Tyler Robinson to pull off. It seems like a white SUV. It's kind of hard to, yeah, I can't zoom in. Oh, Lord. I can't zoom in anymore on that picture right there, but I'm bringing it up because what it reminded me of the car that was right next to Tyler Robinson when he jumped off. Allegedly, Tyler Robinson when he jumped off the building. It seemed like it was also a white car, just like that. White SUV, just like that. Let me share this one. This car right here, the white SUV. It's hard to pull up a side by side, but it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's tricky. I wish the camera footage at the plaza was a little bit more similar to this because it was very, very grainy, but it was a white SUV. And this is a white SUV. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep in it because a lot of it is speculation. Again, I don't have like this full team that I'm gonna be able to provide fact after fact after fact. But I just wanted to bring it to the table just in case anybody else didn't see this. It's been out for months, so I'm assuming a lot of people have saw it. But again, that particular video only had like 9,000 views. So I was like, hey, this is my first time seeing it. Why not show it to everybody else? Now, again, it's very weird to me because if that is Tyler Robinson, again, that doubts that gives me a lot of doubt that it was him on top of that building. It doesn't really make any sense. Why is somebody that just committed that type of crime hanging around in the plaza parking lot 5 minutes away? Who is he waiting for? These are the things where I'm just like, he's not the lone wolf. He's not the lone wolf. I don't think so. There's been mountains of evidence that proves that he did not act alone. Now they're gonna say it's all speculation, but it's just again, it's one of them things where it's like the feds aren't helping us, so it's gonna be speculation until we are able to we are able to solve it ourselves. So it's gonna be very hard, but it's gonna be a lot of speculation. But for Tyler Robinson to I'm coming up with this timeline of Tyler Robinson's whereabouts according to original narrative versus outside sources such as conspiracy theorists, Baron, Candace, and everybody else that's, leading this investigation on the right side of history, in my opinion. I'm coming up with a timeline for that with Tyler Robinson because there are so many different data points that we have about his whereabouts. The Dairy Queen situation, we got that because of Candace. We found out that he was eating at some steakhouse a couple hours away. You know what I mean? The night of, I think, or later that night or something like that. It's so many different data points or data points, however you want to pronounce it, from wherever you're from, because we say data, that just don't place Tyler Robinson on that roof. Not that he's innocent, it just doesn't place him on that roof. I just don't think so. And when I seen this video, I was like, here's more. Here is more evidence that makes you wonder why nobody cares about the other entities involved. Because he definitely didn't act alone, bro. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Yeah, again, some of y'all may have seen this before. I definitely didn't. But I seen the views. I think it only had 9,000 views. I feel like it would have had more if it was blowing up. Maybe that's because it's it wasn't properly vetted and it's nothing. I don't know, but I'm bringing it to the table and hopefully somebody can enlighten me some more, or maybe somebody's gonna be like, nah, that's crazy. I don't know, but make sure you guys hit the like button, sub to the channel, and I will see y'all on the next one.